allegedly caught on tape making racist statements. Everyone is calling for action, but what can be done? What should be done? For their part, the Clippers wore their uniforms inside out during pregame warm-up. They threw them on the ground there, as you're seeing it, covering up the team logo in silent protest. Let's bring in Dominique Wilkins. He's a former NBA player and executive for the Atlanta Hawks. Mr. Wilkins, a pleasure to have you on the show. Sorry it is about this topic, but it demands conversation. The players, the onus should not be on the players, right? This talk of them boycotting their team. Do you think that is what should be done in this situation?
Well, I think the players have to play for themselves. That's what it's about. It's not about the ignorance of one person. You have to play for who you are. You know, you work your whole life, and you're early in your career to achieve a goal. Your goal is to play in the NBA championship. That should be their focus. And unfortunately, this is a distraction for this team. And it's unfortunate. The timing is so bad. But, you know, they have to make a stand, no question about that, and I would do the same. But at the same time, I'm not playing for Donald Sterling. I'm playing for me. I'm playing for my pride and my respect, and that's what it's about, nothing else.
Dominique, give us some perspective. You were such a star for so many years. You now know the management side. Do these comments stand out for this man and for ownership and management in the league? Is this outrageous?
Oh yeah, no question. It put a blemish on the owner side. There's a blemish on their watch. So now they're looking at this that we don't condone this. This is not something that we're happy about, or even can fathom that one of our owners could even put something like this out here. Not necessarily put it out there, but have this leaked out. And if it's authenticated, if it's real, it'd have to be some stiff penalties for Donald Sterling. There's no room for people like that. Forget about just basketball or sports in general. But in society, there's no room for people like that. You know, get over that stuff. You know, move on. And Sterling has had some issues in the past, you know, that people know about. So, you know, it's just appalling that he would say this kind of stuff. It just makes no sense, particularly when you got all these African Americans on your team and has been on your team for many, many years. For you to have that type of mentality, maybe it's time for you to go do something else.
So if it's not hype, if this is, you know, real and warranting of the outrage, the question becomes, what can you do? What do you think the league can do? What do you think owners should do? I know some have come out, but they haven't come out as a collective yet, and they often do on issues. What do you think can be done and should be done?
Well, I think the owners are letting Adam Silver do his due process investigation, and I think they're handling it the right way. Adam Silver is going to do what's necessary if this is real. He's going to do what's necessary to bring about some sort of penalties and sanctions. So you got to let him do his work, and you see what the outcome is. But if this is real, people are going to be wanting some sort of you know, penalties or something done to have Donald Sterling move on and do something. Because I think at this point he needs to go, and maybe there's another career plan that he has or other business. He's a very wealthy man, so I'm sure he won't have problem doing something else. But you don't need that kind of stuff. There's no room for it.
Well, I mean, he may have a big problem with it, right? Because he's denying that this is what he's about, that these statements don't reflect him. And if we look at the Marge Schott example, right? You remember her. She was the owner of the Cincinnati Reds. She had a lot of things on her record that were really ugly, borderline illegal. Some of the things that wound up being alleged illegality that wound up pushing her to trade a percentage of ownership of the team away. The MLB seemed to really struggle with getting it done there. Do you think the NBA can do better?
Again, I think Adam Silver would do what's necessary, if this is true, to bring about some sort of penalties to Mr. Sterling. And I think he should, and I think the public wants that. You know, the league wants that. You know, if you hear comments throughout the league, just from players alone, nobody wants to play for this guy. I mean, I wouldn't want to play for him. I mean, when you have an owner that has that type of mentality, you know, a zebra doesn't change the stripes.
You know, it's interesting. As people react to this on the fan side, there is a little bit of an undercurrent of people saying, oh, you know, these white owners, they all think this. You know, this guy just got caught. Is that fair criticism, or do you think that this man is an exception?
I don't think that's a fair criticism. I think this is just one bad apple who's trying to spoil the bunch. And but you know, you can't let one situation taint who we are as a league and who these owners are, because I've played for some great owners. Ted Turner, who is a personal friend of mine to this day. Of course, I was with him the longest of any other owner, and so I understood who he was and what he was as a person. Forget about an owner. It was a great relationship, and currently our owners with the Guerin family, Bruce Levinson, Ed Petskowitz, Rutherford Seidel, those guys are good people. I went to school with one of those owners in Rutherford Seidel, so I know who these people are. And so, no, that's not the way it is.
The league stands out when it comes to not only the participation, but the power of the African American, specifically the male. It's not just that you're great players, it's that you've become powerful within the league. You're becoming more and more powerful in management and coaching all the time. Is that why you think Kevin Johnson is saying this is a defining moment? Because this league really needs to be the standard?
But I don't even look at it as a league issue. I look at it as a national issue, that people should not have to deal with such discriminations and accusations that Sterling has displayed, or anybody else for that matter. There's just no room in society for such ignorance, and there's no substitute for ignorance.
Well, Dominique Wilkins, you were on a poster on my wall for many years. You were a reminder of what I'd never be able to do in the game, and thank you